Hello, Taurus. What's up? This is Sage, and I guess it's time for your reading. Okay. I am settled here in a very quiet sort of vibe, and I'm sensing this reading is going to be about shadow work. Okay. We're going to go down to the very root of things, to the very bottom, to the darkest crevices of your mind and do some shadow work. Or rather, I'm not going to do your shadow work. I am going to give you a few helpful nudges here and there, and you're gonna do it. And I'm getting the words softly, softly into the shadows, softly, softly into the darkness. So there's this element of seductiveness, scariness, there's a lot of that going on. So I'm feeling like, this is a scary little topic. You might want to do the shadow work with someone you really trust, or you might want to do it alone. But this is scary stuff. You might have done shadow work before, or you might be new to it. But either way, this stage is pretty scary for you, okay? So, and there's going to be an element of distrust. There's going to be an element of, if you don't really trust this person who's leading you through your shadow work, you're going to be like, are they tricking me? Are they pulling one over me? Have they lost it? No, they haven't lost it. They're showing you, they're pointing you to the truth, but you're having difficulty swallowing it. There's that sort of element. But this little golden bow is here to sort of remind you that, the scariest um, shadow work that you do always has something beautiful. There's always like a gift that you can uncover, within your depths. So yeah, if Taurus, if you're not ready to hear this, if you're not like quiet within yourself and in tune with your intuition right now, do not listen to me any further. The last thing I want to do is make you scared of me. Yeah. So, you gotta get with your intuition. You gotta do your own thing and come back to this reading whenever you like. That'll be good. But for now, since the words in my head is just like repeating softly, softly into the shadows. So yeah, this is some really tough shadow work that you're about to do, and we need some really soft vibes. We need to move with love. We need to move slowly, deliberately, take a pause at every step, you know, um, calm your nervous system down at every step. There's no need to panic. There's no need to like throw assumptions, yeah. So, one, to clear up all mental confusion. And then we have the Four of Acorns here, comfort, community. Okay, so that's interesting. What will give you a lot of mental clarity? Jesus, it's not very clear, is it? Is there any place to keep you? Here. Okay, right. Um, Or maybe I can keep you here. Can I? Yes, I can. So, yeah, it seems that, look at this cute little walrus. So, so I'm getting some real no nonsense energy from this, and I'm getting, comfort and community. So, um, definitely you you need to talk things out with a lot of people, not just one or two people. You need to talk it out with a lot of people. Uh, Probably someone um, from a community that you feel like you belong. There should definitely be like a comfort element there. So let's see emotionally, who's your guide? And it's all coming up upside down, but it's okay. Yeah, the High Priestess. Intuition, sacred knowledge. The High Priestess, which is basically a lynx, I guess, over here. Okay, so you need to trust yourself. You need to learn to pay attention to your intuition. If you already have um, a way to listen to yourself, use that. You know, that is very important. Let me put that there. Put this here. Oh wait, should I put this here and put this here? Yeah, that could work potentially. And then for physical manifestation, what do we have for Taurus? Spirit song, come on. Love. Choice, trust. Okay. Well, 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 well. Love is going to show you the way, of course. It's a choice to trust also. Hmm. 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 Okay, Taurus, mental clarity. Um, so I think all of the cards came up reversed at first, except for maybe the love card. So maybe you are down with like dating, with putting yourself out there. Um, you're kind of experienced with relationships, but you lack trust in yourself, and you definitely have not settled into your community yet. So, all these things are necessary for you to like do this shadow work. You need support. Very, very important. The support is like super duper important. Okay, let's give you some high points, some nice fun stuff to do. But you can't do these fun stuff all the time. So you'll have to like sort of dip into the shadow anyway. You know, uh, how am I? What am I trying to say here? Okay, so Taurus, this is my understanding of things. Okay, um, there tends to be a natural ebb and flow of energies in everybody's life. Okay, and the flow times is when you can capitalize on all of that high energy and do something you really like. But the low times instead of fighting against the low um, periods, the lulls, the ebbs of energy, make use of it, embrace the low points and the darkness that comes up there. Embrace it. But first, we're all about the high points, right? Right now, we are moving softly, softly into the shadows after all. So softly, softly we'll go. Let's see. One way you can fill a high point. Okay, interesting. This is just talking about really appreciating everything that you've done so far. Okay, so it might be gratitude. It might also look like hermiting. Just staying at home, not making a decision, not really, going for the next thing yet, but taking time to really savor everything that you've accomplished. There's no need to like run, run, run. You know what I'm saying? So, let's see what to do with another high point that you might have. Tower, but upside down. What does this mean? I promised we wouldn't do scary so fast, but here we are. Tower upside down. What does it mean over here? 5 of coins. Okay. So the tower upside down is to me um, the suppression of the crumble. It might be one of those times when um, you know hmm. There's like a dog barking in the background that's really distracting me. Gosh. Yeah, dog barking. Okay. Um, so no. Let's give it the meaning. So what do you do? Oh, fuck, man. Shut the fuck up. Okay, maybe that's part of it. Okay, so maybe it's kind of saying, you know, in your high moment, when you're feeling good and everything, maybe a friend is like saying stuff to you, um, that's kind of like a tower moment. Maybe this person's words feel like a tower moment, and you're just like, shut up, you know. You're allowed to do that. You're totally allowed to do that. Oh, Jesus Lord. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let's just keep this reverse then, shall we? Okay, so yeah, so you've got two high points over here. One is where you just look at everything you've achieved and give yourself a pat on the back, enjoy it, go out, um, go out with the money you've earned, treat yourself to a nice latte or something, you know, a parfait, whatever it is. Treat yourself, enjoy your moment out there. Um, and, it feels like you're blocking a tower moment also in one of your high points. And it's coming through as like, that's okay too. You don't want your good mood to be ruined by this person telling you, hey, look at your shadow side, look at your shadow side. That is completely okay. You can be like, no, I am not dealing with this right now. I will deal with it later in my own time, in my own way. And that's completely valid. Okay. That's completely valid. We all need to do these tough things in our own time. So let's see when the energy starts to wane, you know, um, we have the Three of Wands upside down. So let's just pull a clarifier for that. King of Wands. King of Wands with the Three of Wands. Dream, 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 dream. Dream. Yeah, so I guess like, at your high point, you're just enjoying the work that you've already done, enjoying what it is that you've already accomplished. And with the Three of Wands, you're like considering, what's the next job that you can do? What's the next project that you can take up? So this is the dreaming and planning phase that's coming up. Um, when you spend a lot of time in the space, you get to really soak in that confidence that you've done something very well, you know, and you're excited about the next stage, you know. And so let's see what the moon is about upside down. I have a feeling I know. Yeah, Four of Cups. So this is also about more suppression, so we'll just put this upside down. We'll just put it upside down right now, huh? Yeah. Yeah, so this is more suppression of all of your emotions that's coming up because of this, which is, again, completely okay. We have free will, we get to deny and distract ourselves whenever we want to, and reserve what we need to chew on for a later time. Okay, so they're like, okay, totally distract yourself. It's absolutely fine. Is there any recommendations for distraction or whatever? No, there's no particular recommendations. Just go nuts. Do whatever you have energy to do. That's completely fine. So this is now showing to me, this is now coming up as like the outer and the inner. Okay. So on the outside, or um, consciously speaking, um, you're considering a job well done and you're figuring out your next steps, which is great. And on the inside, you have suppressed a tower moment. You know, um, something someone said, something disruptive that happened, you've managed to like, you've managed to like grab onto all of it and keep it from crumbling around you, which is fine. You weren't ready for that tower moment. You get to control when it happens in your life. And then over here we have the moon, which is, there's more distraction from the emotion that's coming up because of this. There's more, let's not see it, let's do something else, let's deny, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now let's see at the low point when you don't have energy to distract yourself anymore, you don't really have the energy to dream. Exactly. What do you do? Let's embrace this low point. We have the high priestess over here that's upside down. Okay, so consciously you will come to the fact that your intuition is wobbly, to say the least. Okay, Six of Wands. But it's like, you can change this around. You can turn this around. Um, you know, you can't really run away from your um, tower moments. You can only delay it. So it's gonna catch up to you. Whatever realizations you've been suppressing, it's gonna catch up to you. And let's see, okay? Let's see. So since we've got this down over here, let's take the Osho. Let's take the Osho cards, right? And let's find out how to alchemize this. Okay, because obviously the disruption is winning, right? And you're not properly equipped with your intuition to handle it. Okay, how do we do that? How do we do that? Single pointedness. Okay, interesting. Let me just take these cards out of here and put these here. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, a great thing to do is to like adopt the mindset of an archer, you know. Adopting the mindset of an archer is all about setting a goal for yourself. And in this case, your goal would be to be whole. Of course. Of course, it makes total sense. Okay, if there's a truth that you're denying that's catching up to you, then it's only catching up to you because it is your truth and it wants to be realized. It wants to be part of you. It wants to join you and make you whole. So that is your aim for wholeness. Okay. And, you know, um, you can probably go for practices that support wholeness, that support the feeling of like maybe gathering all the parts of yourself and hugging it to you, envisioning it fusing with each other. Maybe that can be like a good visualization that can get you started. Um, okay, so if your goal is wholeness, um, oh, that's interesting. I was going to say what's going to help you get there. But then I see that this guy who is asking her or guiding her to, um, you know, let her arrow fly, he has let go of all knowledge. Okay, so there is that element to it too. Like, maybe it's a good idea to get out of your head for sure. Get out of your head completely, because your guide for mental clarity seems to be comfort and community. So that makes me think that, you don't need to consume more mental content to gain clarity. You just need to be surrounded with love. And the voice in you, the critical voice, the noise in you will calm down on its own, you know? So, yeah, like maybe this guy isn't really even telling her how to uh, use the bow and arrow. Maybe all he's doing is like giving her company, and that's all she needs. That's all you need, Taurus. Maybe that's all you need. But let me just, what do you need? And then we have mastery of moods, which is upside down, and hope. You know, this too shall pass, hope. And there's like a lot of people in here reaching out to hug you. Um, there's people reminding you that, this too shall pass. So I think that's the key to it, Understand that wholeness is your goal, and whatever method you use, it's time to like let go of the texts. Stop being so bookish, stop being so in your head. You don't need to consume any content to become to have mental clarity. You need comfort to gain mental clarity. You need community to remind you to hope, to remind you that, there's light at the end of the tunnel, to give you company, you know. And in the physical world, in the 3D world, having someone that you really love, choosing to trust them, can be revolutionary for you. It is what will help you get your high priestess back online, because you have um, access to source consciousness. Okay, everybody does, you do too. You have access to the sacred knowledge that is within you. you know don't deny yourself of that light, of that right. you know and to think all you need really to get there is love from, like a lover, and comfort from community around you. You just need love to get clear on things. You don't need to like really talk all of that out. You don't really need any other person to lead you through this. In fact, that might be bad. It might be kind of bad to get other people to lead you through it, because, there's a whole trust issue. If you can't trust yourself, then you can't really trust other people either. There's a Seven of Pentacles over here, which is the same, you know, um, which is kind of making me think that this realization, I guess I'm not really allowed to talk about this realization of yours. That's your thing to uncover. But you know how you were in a space where you were appreciating the work that you've done so far, and you were going to take the next steps as to like, what's my next project? What's my next focus? So this coming up here is sort of making me feel like your next project is not going to be what you thought of before this moment. Okay, this moment where your high priestess kicks in, and your realization, your intuition kicks in. um, you're going to be looking at like a whole different sort of, you know um, Seven of Pentacles moment. Like, I thought I wanted to do I don't know, something with dance, but looks like I need to do something with coding. I don't know, I'm just pulling random examples from my ass. um, yeah. So yeah, there's like an interesting sort of shift. You're coming back to the same space, but you're looking at it with different eyes, a different sense of seriousness. And and it's interesting that we have the Queen of Wands over here. So we have a lot of doing happening here where there wasn't any, and we have a lot of being happening here where there was a lot of doing instead. A lot of like conscious, realistic, practical focuses, like what job am I going to do next? What's the next promotion? Blah, blah, blah. So interesting. And this one is the Six of Swords. I'll just like pull up a clarifier. Maybe that's all I need. Six of Swords is usually, going from, um, well, let's see. Let's see. Knight of Cups. hmm Okay. So it looks to me that whatever you uncover in this moment, when you finally face what you've been running from, it's going to change how you think about your career, or like, your next art project or practical project and everything. Not just that, it's going to give you like a vision for the future. The Knight of Cups here is a man on a mission. He has an idea. He, there's Virgo over here for some really strong work ethic. Um, and there is Leo here for like great vision, grandness for the future. Okay, there's something grand about whatever it is you're uncovering. And Cancer for a sense of security. So, there's this kind of confidence that, you know, I want to have this happen in the future, and I will put every waking moment into it. You know, there's this sort of security um, that comes from having a vision. And the the Six of Spades here is making me think of like, yeah, with the vision, with a vision that really fills you up, that really lights a fire in you, you're able to, push against any sort of resistance. It doesn't matter if you're going uphill or down. um, you have a mission now that feels more real than anything you've ever had before, you know. So that's a nice place to be. And then we have the Queen of Wands, which is like so badass. So super badass. And we have the symbol for Pisces also in there. So there's like this sort of vulnerability, badass vulnerability, which is crazy amazing. And we also have Jack of Cups, which is interesting, which is like taking this probably in like a romantic direction. Like, um, maybe you didn't used to have this sort of vulnerability or this sort of trust in your vulnerable side before when it came to relationships. But here you are walking forward with your arms open and your heart ready. And then we have Five of Swords, but upside down as clarifier, which really makes me feel like, yeah, you're not doing unnecessary things in your relationship anymore. There's like, um, okay, so, um, like I said, Taurus, you just need to surround yourself with love in order to get your high priestess back on track. And whatever realization you've been running from will come at you. And at that point of time, a single pointedness can really help. Your goal is simple, just be whole again. Just be yourself. Everything that is you needs to come back into you and be part of you again. And you don't need extra knowledge. You don't need someone wiser than you to guide you. You just need company and love. You just need someone to keep your hopes up. You just need someone to be like, oh, um, I know you're feeling bad, but this won't last. Keep going. You just need that. You just need company and comfort. Okay. You don't actually need someone wiser than you. You don't actually need some extra knowledge to deal with this shit. You can do it. You can do it on your own. Um, you know, you can, as in, your high priestess is powerful and is capable. Okay. And dealing with this realization, this part of you that you've denied for so long, is going to release you from a lot of mental instability that used to plague you before. Like in relationships, there used to be a lot of like performativeness that you used to maybe engage in just because you didn't feel that confident, um, in your vulnerability. Um, you didn't feel, um, yeah, you didn't feel safe enough to be soft and be yourself. That might be a theme here. Just being able to, because of this critical moment, being able to really be open, being able to drop the unnecessary stuff. And even with your work, there seems to be like a sort of renewed passion, either a renewed passion for the same thing, or like a more grounded, a more fulfilling sort of vision for your future and for your next steps. Something that gives you the drive to push through anything that anyone else can throw at you. Like, it doesn't matter how muddied the waters get in the future, because you've done this important, you know, shadow work. It's gotten you vulnerable and um, strong in your vulnerability and your softness, and it's gotten you um, connected to a vision that's truly connected to the core of you, and that's a powerful thing. And that's all I have for you, Taurus. It was a pleasure doing your reading. See you next time.